Apple or Spotify?
Apple. Oh my gosh.
Ah,
Are you on
what?
Spotify? You have
I
Spotify?
am. Yes. Come on, man. All right, we're gonna come back to that one. All right, guys. So welcome back to the latest edition of the Diamond Discussion. We are kicking off season 4. Super excited to have Jalia Lassiter on the show. Jayla, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing well, doing well. So glad to have you on the show. Thank you so much, first of all, for being on. I appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. So I know you've got this has been a busy summer probably already for you, but I just want to start real quick with the scoop on your home run celebration. The too small, is that too small? Like, what's the scoop on that front? Because I got to know.
So, my favorite player is Ronald Acuna, and I really look up to him, just how athletic he is, and everything that he's brought to MLB. And so, one day I was just watching him, and was like, that's kind of the swag I have, and I just started doing it, and just knowing like how I celebrate and the swag I bring to the game, and I'll just hit it one day, and it's always kind of just stuck with me.
I love it. I love it. So we're of course I'm watching the SEC tournament, and you hit it on I think on Kentucky again, like for the second
Yeah.
year straight. I'm like, yo, she's on another level right now. So talk me through just in that moment, like because a lot of people, non-athletes and even athletes sometimes don't know what that feels like in a moment to be able to hit a big shot like that and to be able to celebrate with your teammates. So talk us through that, like the emotions, the feels, and all that jazz when you're doing that.
Yep. So going into that game, a lot of people don't know, if they were watching, I was 0 for 4 that whole game until that at bat. So just really seeing, how my teammates had me and just knowing, the potential that I play with. I was 0 for 4 that game, but I was not stressing at all just because, I know how I play. I was seeing the ball good, stuff just was going my
Yeah,
way. And I just kept a level head, going up into the next bat. And, I got that one pitch and I did the damage like I was supposed to. So that was a good thing, just not letting the 0 for 4 get to my head, just knowing like I'm right there, it's just one small adjustment. And that was just getting the pitch that I needed, and I did that game.
so talk me through that, I guess. So you said it was just one small adjustment. You've been 0 for 4, but you knew that you could obviously come through in a moment for you and your teammates. What is that like trying to stay in the right frame of mind? Like how have you gotten yourself to that level of confidence?
A lot of people don't realize, softball and baseball, people train and train and train, but a lot of stuff they don't train is the mental game of it. And I think baseball and softball is just mental. I think you can practice as much as you want to, but if you really don't have that mental aspect of it, you will not succeed a lot. And that's probably one of the most failure sports we play. Like,
Sure.
like it's just a failure sport. And, I think just knowing how I prepared for that moment. Like it wasn't relying, just rely on your training. You always will have that. And I think the thing I was working during, going on for 4 was just staying mentally ready. I knew I was gonna
Yeah.
get the pitch. Eventually my swing was fine, and just mentally staying there, I knew I was gonna be okay.
Got you. I feel that. I feel that. So let's segue a little bit because I appreciate you sharing that, and I know I'm going to get your advice a little bit more later in the show, just for some of those younger girls who look up to players like yourself. But I want to talk about just maybe take a trip down memory lane for a second. And so you grew up in Flomaton, Alabama, which I doubt many of the people in the country know anything about that city, but you went to Flomaton High School, and I did a little bit of research, and I saw where like I don't think you guys have had a population of greater than 2,000 people in at least the last 35 years. That's how much, that's how far back I could go on that front. But talk me through growing up as a small town girl in Alabama. What was that like? I know you're Native American, right? So how was that like just growing up in that area?
So I went to high school at Fulmerton. So where I'm originally from is Atmore, Alabama. And so I kind of use Atmore as the city I'm from, but if you go more into it, I'm from a smaller city called McCullough, and there's probably a population of 100 people in that. And
Wow.
so, yeah. So just being from that small city was, you know, You learn a lot, but I would have to drive 30 minutes every day to actually it's like 38 minutes every day to go to high school. So from my 7th grade to 12th grade, I was
Wow.
driving that far to go to my high school. So I come from a very, very, very small town. So,
Sure.
yep.
So I guess being in that small town, like I know people. I'm imagining that you're probably close to. I guess being in that part of Alabama, you're not far from like what Pensacola Beach and stuff like that, right?
Yes, sir. So, where I'm at, I'm probably an hour from Mobile and an hour from Pensacola. So I'm right here on, the beach side. But it was always a hassle. So like anywhere I would have to go train, I would have to drive an hour and something. So practices,
Sure.
travel ball, I would drive 3 hours away. I would fly to North Carolina. So I actually, a lot of people don't know this. My first real hitting coach wasn't until my freshman year of college. So all my athleticism and just how I play, I was just kind of born with it naturally. I never really, I never trained like that. It was just kind of get after it and just work. And so my real training, didn't happen until really when I got into college.
So that's really interesting to learn. So as far as the resources that you had there, like at your disposal, because I know like now people are growing up with like the state of the art equipment, all the trainers, they've got a hitting coach, they got a fielding coach, they got all this. Like, so for you, was that YouTube? Was that like, I mean, I know you said you grew up watching Ronald Acuna, but like how what was your regimen like at that point?
Yep. So I think just coming from, a small town, not really having that, I've always had a chip on my shoulder. And I still play with that till this day. And so how, just how I would practice. So my mom actually played college ball at Chipola. So she was a pitcher. So I literally would just practice in the backyard with my granddad and my mom. And so, luckily, her being a pitcher, that's how I would hit, front toss, live pitching. It would be off her. And so, everything else was really from my granddad, just and my uncle, really my whole family. You just go out into the back of the yard, just kind of play it, and I would just practice. So, that's really how I kind of got all my talents. And so, a lot of people don't know too, I play every position. And my last 4 years of high school, I was a pitcher. So I've pitched all my life. I still have that tool. So I play every position besides catching.
That is awesome. So
Yeah.
I'm laughing because I was gonna ask you about that. I'm like, all right, listen, I saw where you were listed on the roster as a pitcher. Obviously, you're an incredible outfield at the collegiate level now. I know you were a utility infielder too.
Mhm.
So how often did you pitch in travel ball in high school?
So high school, I pitched my whole high school career. I pitched travel ball. It just really depended on when they needed me, just because I was so athletic. And, now it's all you get a lot of POs only, and just really them kind of focusing on that. So really, wherever they needed me, I was literally there. And so also, a lot of people don't know. With me playing every position, my freshman year at Ole Miss was my first time actually just playing center field.
Wow. That's amazing. That's amazing. It's so cool that you mentioned earlier about just your granddad, your mom, your uncle. I had my grandmother on the show about a month and a half or two ago, and one thing that she always harps on is the village concept because I'm also from a small town, and just everybody kind of pitching in to raise up the next generation. And it sounds like you had that same upbringing. Am I right about that?
You are right. Still to this day, my family is huge. When I say huge, it is very, very big. So to this day, I have like close knit family. I have 10 plus people that travel to every one of my games to come and support me.
Wow, that's big. I mean, that's big because I mean you're all over the country, right? So I mean,
I am.
you know, at the end of the day, that's a haul, that's a trip, and to have that support is obviously it's got to be a big deal for you. So you mentioned before we started the show, you've got Native American background. So what are those traditions like for you? Because I mean, I don't know of a lot of people who get an opportunity to participate and have that heritage in their bloodline.
Yep. So being Native American is it's amazing culture, and where I'm from here in Alabama, my tribe is called Porch Creek. So, with that being said, we host a lot of powwows. So, if you search it up and search Porch Creek Indians, you'll see where around Thanksgiving we have this powwow. So it's just where a bunch of tribes from Mississippi, North Carolina, Florida, all the tribes and anybody, it's open to everyone, come down and participate, doing Indian dances and just, really explaining that culture. And it's a crazy time when that comes, but we also
Yeah.
we played the Native American tribes. So every year we would go to each tribe in each state and we would play. So it's really just a blessing and just kind of cool to see your culture.
That's amazing. That's really cool. So, are you now when you're getting together with those tribes and your family obviously included in that? Is that like a whole weekend of a celebration? Are y'all? I mean, what does that part of it look like too?
Yep. So right here where I'm at, we have our own reservation, and so normally when we have the powwow around Thanksgiving, it's probably 4 to 5 days, just because of how big and how much it's grown, and just people coming in. And so we also have our own
Mm,
casino down here that the tribe owns. So we do every
wow.
day. I feel like it's something to do with the tribe, just because how big it's grown. So, but the powwow normally lasts around 4 to 5 days. It's grown so much, and just so many people coming from many different states just coming down.
That's what's up. I love that, Jayla. That's really cool. So, another point I wanted to ask you about was because I think we talked about your swag
Mhm.
earlier a little bit, and that's you kind of developed a little bit of it from the inspiration of Ronald Acuna, right? Which my gosh, that I was so upset about his injury. That
Yeah.
was uh that was tough to watch. But so was that you in high school? Like, how did that kind of develop on your end?
So what you see has always been me since high school, since the day I picked up a softball. So I really think just knowing how much confidence I have in myself and just really who I am and how much passion I have, it really just came naturally. So I didn't really, kind of pick up
Yeah.
watching Ronald Acuna until I really got older. So I would say it literally like I was just kind of born with it, the passion I have for the game, the confidence I have in myself, and I just really kind of show it by having that swag.
I love it. I love it. And you can see it. Like, to me, when I see you on TV, I'm like, yo, she's got the it factor. And I'm gonna talk about this in a little bit after the break. But like, I got to watch you for 3 straight games at LSU when we talked out in Baton Rouge or whatever. And I'm like, yo, like she's it, right? And it's so cool to watch that because
Mhm.
to me, I know there's people, young ladies in the crowd who are like, yo, I want to be like Jayla. How does that feel knowing that you have people on this stage, like you're getting to compete at one of the highest levels of our game?
Yeah.
You've got other young girls who now look up to you as an inspiration. What's that like, and how do you kind of guard that responsibility, so to speak?
Honestly, till this day, it really just doesn't feel real. Just being from a small town and just really watching how much the sport has grown and just watching literally these teams play and just like, hopefully one day, I'll be there. So it still feels like a dream to really like see myself on this stage. But it's just an inspiration, because I was that little girl at once and just seeing,
Hmm.
how much those little girls really look up to you, it means a lot. And I like I said, I was once that little girl and just just steadily trying to prove to them like they can do it. Because just being from a small town, honestly never would have thought I would be at where I'm at today. And so just
Yeah.
just don't give up on your dreams, because you'll reach them. You'll reach them.
No doubt, no doubt, and I think that's a good point to make because I think even for you, like I don't know that a lot of people know that you weren't really highly recruited out of high school, right?
I was
What
not.
was did that did that spur you on? Did that discourage you in any way? Like, what was that motivation, or what was that like, kind of understanding it? Because you knew, and the people around you knew that you were legit,
Yep.
right? And you probably should have been recruited higher out of high school, but you weren't. What was that like?
I think I just go back to always having that chip on my shoulder. I think a lot of people kind of overlook me just being from that small town and not really knowing like who I really was. So just always playing with that chip on my shoulder, like it just really didn't bother me. That's just how I play, and it was a crazy process, just really not being that recruited. So it was just like, I don't know where I'll end up. Hopefully I'll play, D1 softball. Who knows, So it was to the
Hmm.
point I was really just playing softball to play it. I didn't think I was going to be here, playing D1 SEC softball, So just playing with that chip on my shoulder, I didn't care where I ended up just because I love the game so
Right.
much. And it was really just God's plan, and God had his plan for sure and still does. So forever grateful for that.
Amen to that. No doubt about it. So how did Ole Miss stumble upon you, or how did you find Ole Miss?
So the crazy story is, my junior year, I had just recently joined a travel ball team called the Lady Dukes. Shout out to James Lamar. He kind of reached out to me on Twitter, and which was kind of crazy because COVID kind of hit. So it was the 21
Hmm.
year, and reached out to me. I honestly thought it was a prank. Like I thought, I was like, I didn't know what it was because I couldn't believe it. And so, me and my mom talked about it, and just leaving that small travel ball team, that I just grew up with so closely. It was a little nervous. Just didn't know how
Sure.
everything was gonna go. Like didn't know what I was getting into. And so we flew out there, and so my first time being out there was in the fall, and I faced Jordy Ball. Didn't know who she was,
Oh
didn't know
man.
nothing about the organization. I didn't know anything. I was just out there playing softball like normally, and so I made the team, and so from that on, it was honestly just history. So everything came honestly so quick to me. So going into my junior summer, we made it to the PGF game. And so if you kind of look through Twitter a little bit and kind of search up that year, I was playing first base. And so I made a couple plays over there at first base, and that is when Ole Miss seen me. And it was kind of just a coincidence. So it was actually Riker Chasen who just kind of like walked by me and kind of walked by
Uh-huh.
and kind of seen us playing. And my coach kind of said a few words, and it was just like he just kind of walked up upon me and found an athlete. And so from there, I went on a visit probably in August, and I committed right there. And so
Wow.
I did
Wow.
not. I
What
also
a
did not
story.
have that. I did not have that many schools. So the only schools I had during that time was probably Liberty, Minnesota, and I had some smaller schools, and then Ole Miss.
Hmm.
That kind of, like I said, just happened to walk right by me.
Now how far is Oxford from home?
It was a 5.5 hour drive.
Okay. Gotcha. So they were obviously the closest
Yep.
to home. Did that kind of weigh into the decision, or were you like, oh my gosh, opportunity to be in the SEC? Like what led to your decision to choose Ole Miss at that time?
I think really first definitely SEC. You cannot beat that. You cannot beat SEC. Honestly, I mean look at Oklahoma and Texas coming in and how much it's just
Yep.
growing. You really can just not defeat SEC. And I think too, family just knowing how much they support me and come down to all my games. Like I said, 10+ people were showing up every game. And so, being 5.5 hours away, it was one of those, it wasn't too far for me to go home, and it wasn't too far for people to come see me. So it was kind
Right.
of, it was also kind of, I think it's God just giving me a sign, and I just really took the risk and just went with it.
And look at you now. I mean, in a great spot right now. Obviously, I mean, just so proud of you, and just and
Thank you.
all that you've done over the last couple of years. So, before we take a quick break here, I just want to ask you. You look back on the 2 years that you spent in Oxford at Ole Miss. A lot of great memories, I'm sure, to choose from. But if you could just point out a single moment, single memory that you're like, yo, that's I'm gonna live that forever. Uh, what would that be?
Oh gosh. So I'm kind of in between two. I think it was
Okay.
probably my freshman year, my first SEC series against Tennessee. And going into that series, it was like, oh my gosh, first SEC series, didn't know what to expect, and I think I will always remember it because it was my first home run in SEC play, and it was my first diving play. And I think you just kind of,
Oh,
forget those, just back to back. And I think it really just showed, how ready I really was for the competition.
that's exciting. That's exciting. So you said you were ready for the competition physically, mentally. How were you going into that freshman campaign?
I was excited, and I honestly, when I play, I don't really think that much, which is, a lot of people kind of think a lot, but I just go out there and play. We play a failure sport. You're going to fail at some point, and I think it's just that sport really does not define you. So just go out, have fun, just play it. And so I was very, very excited. Didn't know what was going to happen. First SEC series and stuff like that. We had a lot of girls that had to stay back because COVID kind of trickled back a little bit. So we had a lot of girls who had to kind of stay back. So it was just really just having fun out there. Just playing and this is what I always dreamed for, and then was just out there playing softball.
Ah, love that. Love that. All right. On that note, we're going to take a real quick break. We'll jump back in, talk a little bit about the transfer situation right now, where you are, the new excitement on that front. But we'll be right back, guys. All right, guys, welcome back to the show. Hope you are enjoying this time here with Jayla and myself. So, Jay, I want to ask you, transferring LSU. I'm excited. Everybody on the show, everybody who watches the show knows that I'm a diehard LSU fan through and through. So I'm pumped about this. So I gotta ask, why LSU?
So, LSU, they've always been good. They are a top ranked program, and just knowing, Beth, Bryce, they are great coaches. So, funny thing, ever since played LSU at Tiger Park, SEC tournament, just really anytime I played LSU, it was like one of my best games yet, which, was kind of crazy. I think that
Yeah,
was just kind of telling me, but I've always played a good against them, and I just liked, their swag. Just they just look like they have fun. You know what I mean? And so going into the process, I knew I was really interested in them, and just when I got down there, it just felt like it was meant to be. Just talking to Beth and Bryce, and telling them the goals I had, and kind of how I felt personally and as a softball player. Just everything, and they were excited for me. They really wanted me to be happy, to just achieve those goals. And I was very excited, just to see how it just felt natural, And one thing,
yeah.
Bryce, we talked about a lot was just how, like I said, I have a big family. So I probably have about 10 people with me on that visit. And, just the way they all just knew my family's names and just like interacted with them meant a lot because they are everywhere with me. And
Yeah,
that just really meant a lot to me. And one thing I will never forget, as I was touring campus, they were talking about, I'm sure you have a lot of places, and a big decision to make. And they were like, no matter where you go, you already have a fan base here, coaching wise. And it just kind of really meant
yeah.
something to me because, just me playing them and stuff, that really meant a lot, that they're not only my coaches, but just like how they're fans of me, they just support me, and that really meant a lot.
That's huge. That's huge. And I was gonna ask you how that conversation went with Coach Beth. Obviously, it sounds like you talked to Bryce as well. Well, I guess
Yep.
aside from like because first of all, I love that your family traveled with you on the visit. Like that's cool to me. So, but with Beth, what else? Was there anything else that stood out or just excited you after those conversations with Coach Beth and Coach Bryce? And maybe were you able to connect with any of the players? Were they around? Anything like that?
So with the players, I actually was connected to Danica Coffey. Me and her played in the Canada Cup last year, so we became really close. And she actually gave me some advice during the Canada Cup. Just hitting wise, and it really stuck with me. And just how she kind of didn't really know me, but just kind of took me in. And just getting to know her personally and the goals she wanted to achieve was just great. She got hurt, and and it was
Yeah,
just talking to her throughout my whole process. It just felt like even though she was on that team, it just felt like she was still she wanted the best for me. And that's what I really
right.
love, and love Danica to death. And I'm so excited we get to play with each other now. And so with Beth and Bryce, that conversation was hilarious because we've every time we played them, it's been like one of my best games. So just talking to him, Bryce, actually just knowing my swing, him watching me, and he was like, "You're gonna be a great hitter," and just how much confidence he has in me to get what we have to get done just means a lot. And with
Yeah.
Beth, she actually made a couple of jokes. She was like, "You're a pain in me," because to this day I still don't know what pitch to throw to you. So, when I called them to tell them I was gonna commit, it meant a lot because they literally was jumping up and down. They were screaming, and Beth was actually getting kind of emotional about it. So just really seeing that and how much love they just have for me, it means a lot. And also one thing, on my visit, Danica was actually kind of just with us on the visit and just helping us, just kind of tour. And she actually had to go to rehab for her knee, and one thing that really kind of caught me was, she hugged Beth and Beth like told her she loved her, and most coaches, that kind of catches you off guard just to kind of show yeah, she's your coach, but it's more like a mother figure, and just how that
Sure.
relationship and bond just means more than, the softball player you are. And I really, really, she probably don't peep that, my family and I caught that, but we did catch that.
That's a big deal. I think that's a huge deal to be able to express that love in a way that the people around you are going to connect with. So I like that. I dig it that a lot. Actually, that's awesome. So let me just ask you, okay, number seven, because I know we talked about this before we turned the camera on. Number seven, what's the story behind that? Because that's what you're going to be wearing in the purple and gold this upcoming year. You're getting rid of Uno. So what's the deal with number seven?
So, as everybody knows, I've always been one, and going in the process, I had asked her, I was like, what number would I be able to wear? And she shot me a text and she was like, "I was thinking number seven for you." And as I'm reading the text, it just kind of explains what number seven means to not only Beth, but to the whole LSU community. And so if you
Yep.
search number seven up, it comes out to be one of the elite players on the field. That's what number seven represents in LSU. And she had said that they wanted to retire the number, and that she only had two people, I think it was two or maybe one person, to ever wear that number. And if you look back, it's probably been about 13, 14 years ago. And so just knowing the
Wow.
history that that number brings, I'm sure a lot of people know it because of like football and stuff like that. It's actually number seven and number 18. Just knowing the history
Yep.
that those two numbers bring in football, but just really just the whole community of LSU. It honestly like made me feel honestly some type of way just because like that's a serious number. It's a very serious
Yes.
number, and just being honored, and for her to kind of be like, "I think you should wear this number," actually meant a lot. Just knowing how much weight and that number seven carries.
Well, that's why I asked you, because as an LSU fan, I know what number seven represents, and so again, when I saw that come up that you were going to be number seven, I'm like, listen, man, that is huge,
Yep.
huge. I mean, because at the end of the day, that in and of itself, I mean, I know it's to some people it may be just a number, but like you said, to the LSU community, that number means a bunch, and I think that's a testament to who you are
Yeah.
and the status that you bring to Tiger Park and that LSU program. So that's a lot of faith in you and what you bring to the table, which is awesome. So you mentioned your goals a little bit. What are your goals on this new adventure that you're embarking on in Baton Rouge? What do your softball goals look like, and then how does that even extend off the field as well?
Yep. So, softball goals wise, I want to go to the Women's College World Series and I want to win it. And, I think that's two goals that I really want. And I think honestly, just knowing the 2 years I have left, I just want to be well developed. I've like I said, this will be my third actual like hitting coach, and actually like, training coaches. So I just want to be well
Yep.
developed to what I can reach. I don't think the last 2 years that I have reached that yet. Like I said, I've always played it with a chip on my shoulder, and I just think I can definitely reach that in the next 2 years. But just going with that chip on my shoulder, just feeling like I was just kind of undervalued, just kind of looked over, and just having that chip just means a lot to me because I just know I have so much to prove, and I'm going to continue to prove that. So I think just really getting that work in and just honestly doing something, for LSU history and, just going to the College World Series and winning it.
Jayla, I'm not gonna lie, you got me fired up right now. Like I wish the season started tomorrow. Man, let's go. All right, I love that. So, okay, listen. You talked earlier about, Beth kind of you were kind of a pain in her side, which oh my gosh, you were. It's like seriously, I when you and I first talked out in Baton Rouge, I guess that was middle of March in Ole Miss's series at LSU, and we connected. We talked about doing this show at some point this summer, and obviously at that point I had no idea that this would be happening. I'm imagining you didn't either, right? And so but I'm there in person watching that series, and I'm not lying. Every time you came up to bat, I'm rolling my eyes. My wife and daughter are right next to me. I'm like, here we go again. She's about to do something, and we're about to pay for it. And dang it if you didn't do it, dang near every time. I mean, that was just you were so electric that entire series, and I'm like, yo, if only, and I'm not kidding. I'm like, if she was in the purple and gold, like I'm all for her, but she's not, so I'm tripping. You know what I mean? But all that to say though, you're about to be in the purple and gold, and part of that, you had to go through the transfer portal, right? You had to go through the transfer process,
Yep.
and back then I told you I coached travel softball. There's many girls that I coach who are a little bit fearful of the portal, or they're like, I don't really know if I can handle that process because of the fear of the unknown. You having gone through that recently, can you give us some tips, some advice for the young ladies who maybe, they're afraid of it, they just don't know anything about it, how it works, that type of stuff?
So going into it, I honestly had no idea how it worked either. I was confused, lost, didn't know where to start, didn't know how to do really anything, and I think it was really just taking that chance, taking that risk, because I knew how I was as a player, and God always has a plan. You never know where you're gonna end up,
Hmm.
but always assume God's gonna put you in the right place. So I will say I was nervous, I was scared. Like I said, I didn't know how to even enter it, didn't know what step to first take, I just knew I was just taking them, and I knew my family was behind me. We was gonna figure it out, but the transfer portal has changed a lot, and
Yeah.
I think some people get looked over for entering it, and some people, people just assume things now of why people's entering the portal, and I just really think you can't really kind of put your opinion out there if you haven't really understood what that player has been through or what they're really going through to enter the portal. And like I said, it's grown, and people does what they want to in the transfer portal, and it's just grown so much. Like everybody's gonna have their opinion about it, but I think you should just take the chance. You never know, what it can lead you to, and I think
Right.
if you just set your mind to it and you're like, I'm ready for whatever is next, you'll be fine.
I got you. So after you announce that you're going to be entering the transfer portal, you kind of on Twitter, you kind of said your farewell to Ole Miss and that fan base, the staff, and all that. What was that next step from that point on?
Um, I think really just kind of having a plan of kind of where I kind of wanted to go, which I will say I had no idea where I wanted to go. Didn't know where I was going to end up. I think it was really just trust the process. Like I said, I wasn't recruited highly. So I actually had no idea what I was getting into by entering this portal. I didn't know who was going to call me, how many people were going to call me. It was just kind of, I'm doing what's best for me right now and what's best, just for me as a player and mentally. And so I wasn't highly recruited, like I said. So I kind of didn't know what to expect going into this portal, like how visits were going to go. So I
Right.
really just, just talking to a lot of staffs, I just kind of picked out where I think I would kind of best fit in and kind of go on those visits. And so I really just knowing what I had been through previously, getting recruited, I was kind of taking full advantage of it because I had not gotten this before, and I just wanted to really experience it. And I knew I just have 2 years left, and I wanted to go on any and everything that I could to find what was best for me my next 2 years because Committing to Ole Miss, I did not think, I would be transferring. I thought I was gonna be there, for 4 years. Didn't think the coaching staff that I had first committed to, like Katie and Rocker and them, I didn't, just kind of never really know. Didn't think they was gonna leave.
Right.
So I really did not think, committing I was gonna be there for 4 years, and it was just kind of, just taking that chance and just really finding the place I know I can be at for the next two, because
Hmm.
I just want to be happy there, playing, just being fun, and just kind of looking for that for sure.
Makes sense. Makes total sense. So when you went through that process, you went on a number of visits. Where else had interest in you, or where else maybe did you have interest when you decided to say, "Hey, I'm going to go into this transfer process"?
Yep. So I had many of schools reached out, and it was kind of hard to kind of let schools down, just because I'm a very nice person. It's just a hard time to kind
Yeah,
of go through. But there was Arkansas, Alabama, Tennessee, LSU, and Auburn. Those were kind of the top choices that I had kind of, cut down to kind of go on visits on, and to kind of see, what I wanted in a program, and just kind of really getting a feel for everything.
gotcha. Okay, good deal. So of course, like you said, LSU became the one. And speaking of LSU, as before we wrap up, in another break here, outfield you. I mean, that is to me. It's always been that for years. I mean, you've the recents of Sierra Briggs and Allie Newland and Aaliyah Andrews. I mean, we can go on and on with that list. How do you, in your from a mentality standpoint, how do you help continue that legacy while also leaving your mark, leaving your stamp on that program as an elite outfielder that you are?
Yep. I think just knowing the confidence, swagger, and just all around the athleticism, just everything I really bring to the outfield, or just the sport in general, I think it's gonna be fun. I think, yeah, just knowing the history that LSU has is just gonna make me hungrier to continue that legacy that they have grown and continue to grow. And just seeing, the women that was there before me, and it's just like keep going what they had going on. It's just, keep making that happen, and that's what I just really look for, and just continue to grow their legacy, outfield U's legacy, and just really have fun with it. And as you could tell, like
Absolutely.
every woman that has been in that position, they're just laying out for balls, having fun with it, making those plays. And, I think I bring a lot of that to the table, and I'm just very excited to continue their legacy and to actually grow my own out there to be a part of Outfield U.
Well, I'll just tell you straight up. I live in Georgia, and that's about an 8.5, 9 hour drive to Baton Rouge, but I will be there supporting, no doubt about it. So, hey guys, we're gonna take one more quick break. We'll jump back in, catch up with Jay, figure out what she's got going on this summer, and we'll wrap up with you guys. All right, guys, welcome back to the show one last time. Jay, it's been a great interview thus far. I hope you've enjoyed it because I have. Like I said, I'm pumped, ready for Baton Rouge. Okay, so listen, we got this or that, random, totally random, off the wall stuff, and it's got to be rapid fire. So no hesitation. You just got to answer real quick. Go with your first hunch. You ready?
Yes.
All right, here we go. TikTok or Instagram?
Oh, TikTok. That one was hard. Okay, that one was really hard. That one was really hard. Okay.
I got you. All right, here we go. Next one. Snapchat or Twitter?
Twitter.
Okay, TikTok or Twitter?
TikTok.
All right. Salty or sweet?
Ooh, sweet.
Oh, okay. Movies or TV shows?
Movies.
All right, what you watching right now? Like, what's been the latest movie you watched?
Oh gosh. I don't know. I like to watch anything. Honestly, like anything. I like to watch movie documentaries. I don't know if that kind of counts, but
Okay, yeah,
I love those types.
I dig it. Okay. All right, next one. Winter or summer?
Summer.
You sleep with sound or silence?
Silence.
Like, okay, first you said that you start laughing. All right, so what kind of sounds are you like? Like music, rain? Like what you got?
Okay, so sometimes if I can't sleep, I'll put like sound on. But normally, like when I'm tired, I'll literally like I'll just go to sleep. But a lot of people use like what's the thing called that you like put beside your bed and stuff?
Like a
Such
like
as
a like a
yeah, the
humidifier thing?
humidifier and stuff. Yeah, so I didn't know if that kind of counts. I don't use one, but normally like I'll watch TikTok or Instagram and then I'll just be asleep. So
You just knock out. I
I just
got
knock
you.
out.
All right, cool. A few more. We got a few more. All right, sunrise or sunset?
Sunrise,
Okay. All right, cats or dogs?
dogs.
Do you have any?
I do. I actually have a lot. I have 4 or 5. I have a lot of
Oh
them.
my goodness.
Yeah, I have a lot of
Jeez.
dogs.
What kind of dogs do you have?
So, is it a short hair pointer? I think that's. I think we have 2 of those. I have a lab, and then I have some hunting dogs that my granddad owns.
Got you. Okay. All right. Fair enough. That's cool. Would you go audiobooks or hardcovers?
Hardcovers,
Okay. Fair enough. Tattoos or piercings?
piercings,
Apple or Spotify?
Apple. Oh my gosh.
Ah,
Are you on
what?
Spotify? You have
I
Spotify?
am. Yes. Come on, man. All right. We're gonna come back to that one. All right. Crocs or sandals?
Sandals.
Fair enough. Coffee or tea?
Neither.
Wow.
Neither.
That's
I
a
do not.
first.
Yeah. I don't like coffee. I don't drink coffee. I don't drink tea. I usually drink water, and if I drink a soda, it's normally Sprite, and I drink Gatorade. So anything that's dark, I will not drink because of my teeth. I like to keep my teeth white, so anything dark, I will not drink.
I got you. So my friends who will watch this show, they're all gonna laugh because you sound like me. Like I drink Sprite and ginger ale. Seriously, those are the only two sodas
Yes.
I drink. Gatorade, Powerade, water, milk. That's about
Yes,
it,
it makes
really.
a big difference. Like you don't
It,
realize it makes a huge difference. It does.
yes, absolutely. I'm with you. All right. So city life or country life?
City life. I know I'm from the country, but just kind of being away and exploring like different cities. I can't wait to kind of like live in a city. I will always be a little country girl on the backside, but I want to explore the city side for sure.
I got you. So if you said so, exploring the city side, is there a city in the country that you're like, I really want to go visit that you haven't been to yet?
Oh gosh. Houston. I have not kind
Ooh,
of been around Houston. So like I have a couple cities I've been so it really don't count because I've been to them for softball, so I haven't really got to like kind of get out there. So every place I've been to has been for softball. So I think my
right.
3 like choices to kind of just, get out there and kind of look around, explore will probably be Houston, Miami, and Atlanta.
Oh, come on over to Atlanta. That's a good place. A good place to hang out. I'll be in Houston in a couple of months actually. I've been on this ballpark tour to see a game at every MLB stadium. So I've got 16 of them done,
Wow.
and so we're gonna knock out the Astros in August. So all right, cool. So next one, flying an airplane or road trip?
Flying an airplane.
Fair. Uh, I know your answer already now. iPhone or Android?
iPhone.
Whatever. We'll move on. Um, beach or pool?
Oh, I don't know. I kind of like both. I just don't like the sand at the beach, but I like swimming in the beach. But right now there's sharks, so I'm gonna go with a pool. Yep, I'm gonna go with a pool. I'll stay safe in the pool.
I feel you. I feel you. Okay, breakfast or dinner?
Breakfast, love breakfast, love
Oh,
breakfast.
me too. All right, what's
I can
your
eat
what's your
breakfast.
favorite food, favorite dish?
Oh my gosh! So I have to have pretty much everything: eggs, grits, bacon, toast, and then I do like a side of strawberry French toast.
Oh, come on. Let's go. All right, Saturdays or Sundays?
Oh, I don't know. I normally don't have like kind of I've always played softball on those days. So it's like I
Yep,
guess I'll do both because I'm,
they're the
kind of
same.
playing softball and then, if we aren't playing, go to church on Sunday. So I kind of say both.
I got you. All right, last one, purple or gold?
Both. Go Tigers.
Yes. Let's go Tigers, baby. Let's go. All right. So last couple questions just about your summer. So what as a college athlete and a family girl, what do your summers look like right now?
So right now, actually this coming up Tuesday, I leave to go to Colorado, and then from there we go to Canada. So I'm actually playing in the Canada Cup. So it's kind of an organization that his name's David King. It's Triple Crown. And it's TC Colorado. That's the team. But he normally gets a group
Yep.
of girls together from colleges. So like I have girls from Texas, Duke, Oklahoma, really any team that he thinks is good for his team. We play together, and so like last year, I actually played with him. Last year, we played Japan in the championship game, and we lost by 1 run. So we'll go play
Wow.
Japan, Canada, Australia, Germany, in this Canada Cup to try to win it.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay. So you said Colorado first and
Yes, we
then
just added Colorado this year. They're kind of based out of Colorado, so we're gonna kind of go back to I guess their facilities and kind of play down there to get warmed up. I guess for the Canada Cup, and then we'll
got
go
you.
to Canada to play. We'll be there for about a week and a half, maybe.
Okay. That'll be
Yeah.
fun. That sounds cool. So I know that you are like right after this show, you're about to head to the ball field. Tell us
Yes.
why. What else you got going on this summer?
So I'm actually helping my little sisters coach in the Native American Classic, and also just me training. So as I help them coach, kind of after I literally go train myself. So last night I didn't get home till around 10 because I was training myself. So really just helping them, training myself, and I gotta get down to Baton Rouge, and I'm actually living with a teammate, and we're gonna find some stuff, kind of get all that situated and handle that. So.
Got you. Okay. So last couple of questions. One, what does your training look like right now during the summer months? Because it sounds like you're not really taking much of a break necessarily with your training, right?
Yep. So anytime I really think I need a break, I'll take it. I know I'm very kind of hard on myself, and just knowing how much I've learned over the 2 years, just what I need to kind of work on. So I've just really kind of held myself to a high standard of not overworking, but not working less. So really just kind of getting that even amount of work in that I need. I won't overhit and I won't underhit. When I think I'm good, I'm good. And then
Mm-hmm.
just really kind of staying in it and just getting prepared to go to college and to work.
Got you. Got you. Okay. Cool. All right. So we're gonna wrap this up with one last question, and it's really just a piece of advice from you. Like what for the young ladies out there, like I said, just from the really young ones or even to those high school seniors out there, they're trying to get on your level, in terms of just being able to play D1 college softball or really any level of collegiate softball. What would be your biggest piece of advice to them?
Don't stress it. I was a late recruit myself. I actually did not know where I was going to end up. Didn't know what program, if I was going to, be at this level playing softball. I think God has a plan for you anywhere at any program. I think there's a program out there for you at any division. And if you work hard and just trust yourself, trust that dream, you will be successful in life. Because at the end of the day, you're the one pushing yourself and you're the one that's making those dreams come true.
That's big. That's big. Well, Jay, anything else you got before we wrap up?
No, sir. Besides, go
You good?
Tigers, and I can't wait to get down there. So,
Hey, you can say that again. Go Tigers all day, baby. Jay, thank you so much again for being on the show. I really, really appreciate it. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to end this show like we always do. So please let everything you do be done in love because at the end of the day, that is truly what makes the world go round. Thank y'all so much, and we'll catch you next time.